I think the problem is that there are so little facts that we know for certain about the murders and the circumstances, and a picture has been built up over the years of this sort of fictitious figure called Jack the Ripper, with the cape and the bag and the hat and all this stuff and the fog and all that, which to me, I wanted to get away from that and really concentrate on the real killer and what his motive was, because you don't just go around, you might be a serial killer killing random victims, but they don't normally basically take apart their bodies. There's got to be a reason for that, and that's what I was trying to investigate, the reason behind why he was doing what he was doing.
And did you come to any conclusions? Or?
Yeah, I did, but it sort of goes back to when I first started researching it. I determined to not to take any preconceived ideas, but to start with a blank piece of paper, which was quite difficult because there are so few facts that you can use. So I went back to the newspaper reports at the time and the coroner's inquests and other source material that was available that we can definitely say was accurate. In doing so, I made a whole load of notes from newspaper cuttings, etc. And that's when I found someone quite interesting, which I then followed up to over the years. I actually did an article in the Criminologist magazine, which was published, but that was 30 years ago. And Stuart Evans knew all about it, obviously. And when I retired a couple of years ago, I thought I really need to try and follow this up, find some more information, and ultimately do a book, which I've done.
So it was a raced through project. It took just a mere 30 years.
Yeah, it started 30 years ago, yeah. And it did then end up in the A to Z of Jack the Ripper, which I'm in there. But they got something wrong there. They actually said that I trawled the suicides at the time to find this guy, and I didn't. This was a newspaper report that said that someone aged 40 had committed suicide. And when I investigated further into another newspaper, an East End Gazette, I think it was, it said that he was actually aged 30, and they got his name right this time, which was Edward Buchan. And it started to make me think. So I then got hold of his death certificate and his birth certificate and discovered that he killed himself on his birthday, which I felt was highly significant. And it was a week after the Kelly murder, and it was on the day of her funeral. Interestingly, the funeral procession went through the East End almost on his doorstep on that same day. And what I put forward in my original article, it may have been the thing that pushed him over the edge, because in effect, he was a nobody. He achieved nothing by doing these murders. And in fact, Mary Kelly was now the star of the show, if you like, even though she was deceased. She'd become a personality in her own right, and he was still nowhere. You know, he obviously had low self-esteem. And basically, I thought that may have just tipped him over the edge.